say, especially Joshua, who, in addition to narrating the facts, also presented an argument. And the argument went to the substance of the issue at stake. That, listen, these people, it may look like they have everything, but their defense is not there. Why is their defense not there? If they really had a very effective system, they should have determined who we were. How come we've been able to take one of the major resources of the land, cluster of grapes, by a brook? And then you ask, why has the author given us that small fact? Brook is a water source. And so you know it's one of the major resources of any land. How come there was no defense around such a major resource? So Joshua was putting all these arguments together to present the sort of persuasive answer to the clamoring of the thing. And as I said, that's what we are doing here. In Ghana, that's almost a similar thing. Is it true, as I said, is it true the whole world is facing economic uncertainties? Yes. I mean, look at Britain. What has happened there? How many presidents have they had? I mean, prime ministers have they had in how many years? Why can't we pat ourselves on the back and say, hey, at least if a developed nation like that, such economic turmoil can bring things down, yet in our case, we are holding up. Why can't we celebrate that? You getting me? You can look at what Trump is doing to the legal system of America. One person. Why can't we celebrate our own? You understand? Literally, one person is literally unmaking America and nobody can say anything. We have the opportunity to even hoot at the vice president and there are no repercussions. Why can't we celebrate that? You getting me? So some of us are saying, yes, the problems are there, but are there pointers, indicators of something that could be latched onto to take us to a possible promised land? I'm saying yes. So it's not, Dr. Boison, look at an interesting thing that happened. I don't know if people, you know, there was the Kumipreku demonstration on Saturday. Ask how many people showed up. Just ask how many people showed up.
I think there was quite a number. I mean, I saw a few on the TV.
Why isn't it being given the sort of press?
Publicity.
Yeah. So we are looking at these are indicators. People are trying to think through issues. You getting me? So for me, that's something I would like to celebrate than condemn. Yes, this government is not doing well. It's not doing well. Not by any stretch of the imagination. They are not doing well. You understand? But can we celebrate that which is worthy of celebration and condemn that which is worthy of condemnation? Why are we conflating everything and condemning everything?
Uncle Mark, you want to come in?
Yeah. I want to come in. I have to protest because I don't think everything that comes out of Ghana is negative. And we are not conflating the two. I think, as you have pointed out, people are getting starting to think, and we are very, very discerning. So we criticize where criticism is due. And unfortunately, there's a lot of criticism that is due at the moment. But people are also going about their lives. And if you consider that we are not seeing an exodus of economic refugees, white people are still coming in and setting up business here and so on. People are, I'm still here, I'm still in Ghana, I'm not going to have any plans to go anywhere anytime soon. It is because there are some of us who see the possibility and the potential. And we have faith that it will be well if we all just keep brightening our little corner.
Oh, no.
So if you look at the Ghanaian media, you see a lot of humor that is emerging since the president's last comment about Sikam Pedede. So people are making songs, they are doing videos and so on and so forth on that topic. Yeah. And this is part of our natural exuberance and ebullience and our natural national hope that tomorrow may be a better day, even though today we are struggling. So no, I don't think everything is doom and gloom. Otherwise, people will be flying out of the country. They're not. They're staying because they are hoping for a better tomorrow, and they're working towards a better tomorrow, some of them. Our only challenge is that the government of the day has become deaf. As a former president used to sing, Yenti Obia. When people get into government, it seems that's the mantra they adopt. They don't want to hear anything. They don't want to hear any criticism. They don't want to hear any suggestions of doing things better. You understand? And
Uncle Max, let me finish and let me ask you a quick question here.
About Trump taking over America, nobody can say anything. Well, a similar thing is happening in Ghana, where this particular administration has embarked on a program of state capture, where they're capturing the ports, the air transport system, the energy system, the minerals sector, and others. And this is a takeover of the country, which is deeply, deeply worrying for the continuity of our democratic dispensation. And so people have to talk about it. People have to talk.
Oh, no. Uncle Max, let me also come in. As I said, I agree with you. But this is not the first time Ghana, somebody or one group has sought this sort of state capture.
No. This is the first time it's being done on a systematic scale like this across the board.
Well.
All right, let me cool things down. Let me All right, it's election night in the United States. This about come to you. It's election night in the United States, and we are discussing leadership in the midst of crisis. Tonight, we are hoping that our people will win and things will, change, or we'll see whether it's going to be the status quo, and also looking at the situation back home in Ghana. Nisaba, you were about to make a point. It's not
Dr. Boison, and as I said, I applaud Uncle Max. He knows I respect his views a lot. But some of us are coming from that part of the world where we are looking at both worlds. And we are realizing that there is a tendency on the part of where our navels were cut to always shoot things down as much as possible. And it cuts both ways, whether it's NDC or NPP.
Okay.
I remember very well, a whole president said, he was asked, hand over, and he said, hand over to whom? All I'm saying is, this is not the first time. Did it work the first time? It didn't. Did it work the second time? It didn't. So why are we afraid that this time it will work? You getting me? But it is the nature of man to behave in certain selfish ways. You getting me? So it's one of those things I understand. Not long ago, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, the same party that is complaining today, they were also being accused of doing similar things. So what that tells me is human nature on display. You getting me? My fellow guys will say, "Mini wana kuda."
There's nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun, I suppose.
You get it. So this, but only I don't want us to end in a place where all the conditions should have been created for somebody like a Rawlings to emerge. Because all of a sudden, you had coup everywhere, as if that is the panacea. You get it? And as I said, Alex Sebefia, who was the Mohammed's, I think, deputy chief of staff, or later became the chief of staff, saying that processes must be activated to have an immediate election. And nobody is saying anything. Where is it coming from? Is it because somebody else is on the seat? Would he tolerate such a thing if somebody had called for such a thing in his time? So you are looking at the hypocrisy and you're asking, where is this thing coming from? Yeah, it is part of human behavior. When the kitchen is hot, people will complain. If it is too cold, they will complain. And sometimes the sort of temperature that appeals to everybody, you hardly get it. It's one of those things. Let's mature.
All right, let's mature. We'll try and do that. We have to mature. Uncle Max, let me ask you one more question. Maybe I'll do it 2 in 1. Do you believe in the Council of State? Is it working in Ghana? Is the council giving the cabinet the right advice? And would you say the size of the government is too much or is just appropriate?
Okay, to the first question, I think the Council of State is an admirable institution. I don't think it is working, however, because, well, we have a certain phenomenon which some have called the neurology of power. When people get into power, apparently it impacts the brain changes and they become deaf. So they are less open to advice and counsel. So I don't think it's working very well, but I think it's a great institution.
Okay.
As to the second question, I'm afraid we have to bring in some comparisons here to make the point. Okay, because whether we are comparing it with contemporary countries or you're comparing it with Ghana's past, the present size of the administration seems excessive. You know, if there's no business I can think of where you've got a cabinet with 30 people, or I should say a management team or board of directors with 30 people in it, and a management team of 120. those numbers just don't work. And if you have to have that many people in your immediate team and so on, it suggests you don't have a grasp of what is required. Because really, the critical sectors of government are not many: health, energy, transport, education, security, social welfare. That's about it. Those are the critical levers of the economy. So our first president had a cabinet of, I don't know, 9 people, something like that. And he was running the country with the same borders. Sure, there were fewer people then. But just because you have more people doesn't mean you have to have more policies. The same policy will work for 100 people as much as well as for 1,000 people, or for 10 million as well as for 30 million, if it's the right policy. You understand? And you don't need 10 people to come up with one policy. So I think we do need to cut our coat according to our cloth. And this profligacy of expenditure, because we have got so many more ministers. I mean, another example is bringing in 6 extra regions. What for? You now have 6 extra regional administrations, but the same number of people being catered for.
All right. I wanted to be fair to you on the. I think I cut you when you were on the COP27. I want to be fair to you. 30 seconds. You were saying the number that it took were too many. Just respond to it, and I'll let Mr. Ban speak.
Well, again, if you look at the environment, there are the number of sectors that are impacted or have influence on the environment, again, are very few. So you only need representatives from those sectors.
For the climate change.
Private sector wants to send 200 people and they're paying for it, that's their palaver. But government should have clarity of focus. Ministry for the Environment, Science, Technology, yes. Land and forestry, yes. Transport, yes. What else? Ministry of Energy, yes.
All under the climate change. That's what the conference was all about. All right, Nisaba, do you want to respond before we have five?
Oh yeah, I want to respond. Oh yes. I mean, I don't want us. Yeah, Uncle Mas cited Nkrumah, lovely Nkrumah. But Nkrumah at the peak had maximum 6 million people. 6 million.
That's the population of the country. That's what you mean.
Yes, at its peak, when Nkrumah was in power. This is one of the things we don't want to talk about. Yes, but you see, Dr. Boison, just 2018 to today, Ghana has gained over 4 million people.
Oh, the men are active.
Yeah, Dr. Boy, these are hard facts. And you see, bring it to the US, the developed country, and then you see, not Uncle Max, but in a very interesting environment made up of professors and this issue came up, and I'm citing it to buttress a point. Dr. Boison, somebody said, how come Ghana we have America has only 9 Supreme Court justices, and Ghana we have 18, and blah 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 blah. So me and my big mouth, I said, every state in America has a Supreme Court. Every state. In addition to the federal Supreme Court. Every state. And every state Supreme Court has at least 5 people. At least 5 Supreme Court justices. And so when we are comparing, when we are saying certain things, let's look at the details. What is hidden in the numbers? These are some of the, you getting me? I am not holding brief for this seemingly failure-prone Akufo-Addo government. But Dr. Boison, tell me, if in less than 4 years, you have an additional 4 million people to factor into your policy decisions, whereas you go to certain places you call developed, they are actually losing population.
Mm.
So the comparisons, we must do them very carefully.
Appropriately. Mm-hmm.
You get it very, very, very carefully. These are some of, for me, these are the worries.
So Ghana is like the Israelites. Even in the midst of crisis, we are still populating.
Because, Dr. Boison, the reports are there. It's only in sub-Saharan Africa that women are able to give birth to 3 and upwards children. The rest of the world, including both China and India, the women cannot go beyond 2.
Mm.
You understand? So you are dealing with certain dynamics that are, permit me to say, are unprecedented in at least contemporary human experience. I don't remember a time from the history books that I've read that the world went through such a system. But we are experiencing it. Are you getting me? So these are things that force a different kind of conversation. We can't use the old models to make our arguments. America itself, with 300 and what, they didn't experience 4 million people in 4 years. So let's sit back and begin to probe the issues carefully and see the problems and their hydra-headedness.
All right, I think we are about run out of time, and I think Uncle Mark wants to make a point. All right, go ahead, Uncle Mark.
Pastor, I don't disagree that we have an expanding population, and it's been expanding since Nkrumah's time. But if we are doing our work well, we will plan for that expansion. Businesses plan for growth. I don't see why countries cannot plan for growth within their policy formulation. So just because a country is growing and we've had 4 million more people, the fact that we may not be ready for them is an indictment on our abilities or the discharge of our duties to not have planned for that. Because the population growth figures are available. Anybody can project them. You understand? And these are things we should take into account.
Indict America also, indict Britain also, indict Germany also, indict Italy also, indict France also, indict Spain also. This, if you want to indict us because these countries are experiencing this.
Well, I'm indicting the human race in that.
Then that's fine. Then you begin to realize, Uncle Mark,
our focus,
this has dimensions.
Our focus is Ghana. Our focus today is Ghana.
But we can't, because we use comparisons. Our focus will be Ghana, but we are part of a global system. And you are realizing that this thing cuts across. And the so-called developed countries don't even have the solutions.
All right, gentlemen, tonight.
All of a sudden, Republicans with their whatever are almost poised to take over in America as we speak.
All right, gentlemen, I think we are going over our time. Tonight, as we realize, we decided to mix things up and just, pull in a little bit of politics. After all, we are all, in one entity. Spiritual and physical should not be separate. So we're trying to bring divinity into our human life by inculcating what happens around us so we can be well informed and live in a better way. Well, gentlemen, I think I'm 3 minutes over the time, but I'll beg Dr. Ostus to give me. Let me hear your closing remarks because I know you are all pumped out. Let me, Uncle Mas, go with your closing remarks. 45 seconds.
Okay. Leadership, is to do with making choices and leading the way. Okay. Now, you ask the question, what should a leader say? And one of the answers to that is that leader has to be aware that there are always three constituencies. There are those who are against, there are those who are for, and there are those who are not sure. And the leader's job is to craft a message to go to each of those constituencies so that they get on board and there is consensus in the team going forward. Because there are always three possibilities: retreat, stay where you are, or move forward. And this is what the Israelites failed to do when they went on their spying mission. They failed to address the negativities and the positivities and the neutrals to get onto one consensus. So maybe this is something we should address next time. And there's also the different dimensions that people come with: spiritual, mental, attitudinal. And you have to address all of those really to get people on the same page.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Nisaba, you want to follow up?
I think this has been a very fruitful discussion.
Thank you.
I'm very hopeful that Ghana will come through, Africa will come through, the world will come through. This is something that is on. The human experience tells us that we go through our highs and lows. You getting me? Only that whether we learn from them is another thing. And some of us are worried is that we become so despondent by our utterances that we will forget that we've been there before and the result was nothing to write. Was nothing that anybody will say something positive about. We ended up with somebody who took advantage of a similar situation, uncertainties and what have you, promised high heaven, killed some people for it, and then when he failed miserably, he covered himself in indemnity clauses and transitional provisions. History is a guide.
All right, thank you very much, Nisama. Yeah, I don't want to go there again. Thank you very much. But it's been I think I concur. It's been a very fruitful discussion. We don't always have to just go with the spirit and just stand there. We have to blend it. We have to add our contemporary issues and solve them. We don't have to run away from problems. So this has been a very fruitful discussion. And thank you, gentlemen, for, once again, availing yourself to spend over an hour with this discussion. I know it's very hot in America tonight. We are all going to look at the results and see how the votes are coming in. Uncle Max, I apologize for letting you stay beyond your, I know it's almost midnight in Ghana because of the time change, but thank you very much. I don't take your kindness and your intellect for granted at all. Thank you for staying up and blessing us in your knowledge. Nisaba, as usual, thank you very much for all of you. Era One continues to be a 24/7 radio station. We broadcast live on Facebook and YouTube. Please go to Play Store, Google Store, download the app. Anytime we are on, you will have us. Go and download the program. Go to Facebook and replay this clip because we are trying to, educate ourselves. There's so many things we learned when we were babies and children, and realize that some of them were not helping us. So we have to unlearn some of them and learn new things. We are in a IT world. We have to go with what is flowing now. So we realize that we don't have to just recline ourselves to just the spiritual. We have to add what is going on around us. Speak to our leaders. I believe if any of our leaders are listening to us tonight, they will also take something as a cue and move on. Thank you very much. Until I think Thursday we'll be back to take on our investment. There's still more meat to glean from there. So I'll see you guys on Thursday. Have a blessed evening and continue being what God has ordained me to be. Have a good night, and thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Boison.
You're welcome, sir.
They are 4 women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many, the funny. Now, it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the real in common getting. In common BISS chain, the dead, as in Takrenu assume the dead, the real in common getting. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era One Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, Era One Radio and our Taibo channel. Kaise, so we see the real in common getting ya. What brabon tete, we nyan konkonsa, we the real in common getting.
So when you hear one kind of some, they might put you some cacre or supplement. Yo, oh my woman, oh money, mama, can you baby? Watch out, I worry. What's up, one in your pa, as I did power of you. Come on,
When you're me, I want you to